Hey guys, I'm Josiah, and this is my review for Captain Marvel. So, I went and saw the movie last night, and, man, I have some thoughts about this movie, that's for sure. It wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. It wasn't a complete train wreck, and especially with the SJW elements, they were pretty minimal, to be honest, in this movie, which was okay, I guess. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point because the marketing was such a train wreck, but, there were definitely things I liked about this movie. Ben Mendelsohn was definitely a highlight in this movie. People kept on saying that Goose the cat was a highlight of this movie and he stole every scene he was in. I didn't really find that the case. I mean, I'm a huge cat person. My cat is sleeping on the bed right now, and he's like always in the room with me whenever I'm working in here. Goose didn't really steal the movie for me. Like, he was pretty cool, and but I wouldn't really call him a scene stealer. There wasn't really anybody who was a scene stealer in this movie, particularly Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. She definitely was the weakest point of this movie. She was definitely the flaw of this movie. Brie Larson can't play this character. She doesn't know how to play this character, and Brie Larson, as an actress, she's not horrible. I mean, I really liked her in Room. I thought she did a fantastic job in Room. And so she's not like a terrible, terrible actress. But as Captain Marvel, she did a terrible job. And she can't play this character. She is so wooden. She has no emotion. It's terrible. I mean, she's just not good at playing this character. Captain Marvel as the hero of this film is not good at all. She is, flatlined throughout this entire movie. She has no character arc. She begins the movie powerful, no emotion, and she ends the movie powerful with no emotion. And it's weird because throughout the movie and stuff, they're all telling her that she needs to learn how to control her emotions, but she really doesn't have any emotions. So I thought that was really funny and just kind of dumb. And that's pretty much how I felt with my emotions during this movie. Like, my emotions never reached any of those high points, those peaks that they usually do during Marvel movies. I never had the goosebumps moment that I usually do at least once during a Marvel movie. I didn't laugh as much during this movie as I have with other Marvel movies in the past. I didn't have that moment where I get choked up with emotion, with tears, like I do in almost every movie, a Marvel movie, at least once. I never experienced any of those points. My emotions were just as flatlined through this movie as Brie Larson's character development for Captain Marvel. And the movie in general is just really boring and forgettable. Like, after the movie was done, I was sitting there and I was like trying to think of what I could take away from this movie, and there wasn't really anything that came to my mind. There wasn't any like highlights in this movie that just really stood out as epic moments in the movie. The fight scenes were pretty terrible. I mean, the choreography was awful. The camera work was pretty forgettable. Everything about this movie is just really subpar and forgettable, and we expect Marvel to have a higher quality, higher standard at this point, and they just didn't deliver in this movie at all. Captain Marvel is the weakest hero that we've gotten for a movie so far in the MCU, and I'm not talking about physical strength, I'm talking about character development, likability, personality, all of that stuff. She is definitely the weakest hero that we've seen so far. This movie is probably in the bottom of 3 for me as far as the Marvel movies go. It's just so forgettable, and there's nothing about this movie that is really that great to take away from. People like John Campea kept on saying that this movie was an important Marvel film. It's not an important film at all. There's nothing important about this movie. One of the biggest things that really just bugged me in this movie as well was the inconsistencies and the retconning of the rest of the MCU in this movie. Like, there were lots of plot holes in this movie that it just created for the MCU, and lots of things that were trying to retcon things that have happened in the MCU, but done in a really terrible way, and really some of the things that they did just really irritated me a lot. Spoiler, but like Nick Fury's eye and how he loses his eye, I'm not gonna say it, but it oh man, it was horrible. It was not good. This movie, man, I don't know, this movie is just not great. It's just not a great movie, and it's definitely not worth going to see. There's nothing really to take away from this for you to know before going into Endgame, besides that Captain Marvel is insanely OP, and she's probably going to be the one that defeats Thanos, and that's just gonna suck. But that's just kind of what it's looking like. She's going to be in Endgame. There's already been leaks of some of the scenes that she's in Endgame, and she's basically ordering everyone around in the Avengers, including Captain America, and it's just not cool. This is not cool. This is not a good sign for Endgame, and there's no point in seeing this movie. You don't need to go see this movie. Don't worry about it. If you want to know more details about the movie, you can always ask me. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed my review, and I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.